Michael, thank you very much for attending. And for those of you watching today, appreciate you joining us for another in our series of thought leader interviews. For those of you that don't know Michael Gass, Michael is an international new business consultant to advertising, digital, media, and PR agencies. Since 2007, he's led in the use of social media and content marketing strategies to make agency new business easier. He's the founder of Few Lines, which has been rated among the top 100 marketing blogs in the world, according to Ad Age's Power 150. Michael has worked face-to-face with well over 160 agencies in almost all 50 states here in the U.S., and with agencies in over 14 foreign countries as well. Michael can be reached via his site, which is fuelingnewbusiness.com. Michael, thank you very much for joining us today. Appreciate it. How are you doing?
Doing well. And you, Mark?
I'm doing fine. Thank you very much. Michael, like our other thought leaders, submitted questions for a survey that we released a couple of months ago. We're following up with each of them with Skype interviews, asking for their perspective on some of the responses that we got from agencies that we reached out to for the survey. So I want to start out with the first question, Michael. We had a fairly large number of agencies in responding to the survey, 42% to be exact, that didn't believe that they are meeting with much success when using social media as a new business driver. Both you and I know that social media is a great platform that can definitely help drive new business. Why do you think that is, that there are that many agencies out there that feel that they're not meeting with a whole lot of success?
Well, my experience, 2010, that's when most agencies decided to get off the bench and jump in.
Okay.
They literally jumped in.
Okay.
They had no plan, no objective. It's almost as if they had this list, to show their credentials that they were now social.
Okay.
So we've got an agency blog. Who's it to? Anybody and everybody. What's it about? A little bit of everything.
Right.
There's really no good central platform. They're trying to showcase the agency culture. They're still talking about themselves. They can't get over themselves. Mm-hmm. And they're not really creating things of value that would generate appeal and interest. I mean, if a prospective client's heard about your Addy Awards once, they've heard it 2 or 3 times.
Sure. That's
not what they're looking for. They're looking for thought leaders. And, most of the blogs are, the agency blogs, they're done by a group.
Okay.
And so no one person stands out, and with no focus, no direction, very little traffic, you're not gonna generate any leads that way.
Right.
And then agencies are still guilty of trying to lead with brick and mortar.
Okay.
Social media is about people connecting with other people, and it's been my premise ever since I've been in business development. My whole career is, it's very relational. And people want to work with other people that they know, trust, and like. So there should be that natural acquisition with social media, but they're leading with the agency. They're leading with the agency logo. Yeah. Here's the Twitter account. Who am I talking to? Are they 13 or 60?
Right.
Are they male, female? You have no idea.
Yeah.
And it makes it very awkward.
Okay.
So, in my opinion, for the small to mid-sized agency, the agency principal should be the face of the agency.
Okay.
But it's about their personal accounts. So, there's such a mixture of our personal and our professional side now as never before. Mm-hmm. So you don't have just a separate Facebook account. It's your personal account.
Right.
And your personal LinkedIn account, your personal Twitter account. Putting the agency principals out there as the face of the agency, they're the least likely to lead. Mm-hmm. So you don't put all this investment into another staff member and then they walk out the doors. I've had that happen on occasion.
Right.
There goes the equity with them.
Right, okay.
But I think that's the biggest thing. There's no integrated approach, and it's not specific for new business,
Okay.
And they're not leading, personally.
Right. If an agency has, maybe 2 or 3 core areas that they're working in, maybe it's healthcare and B2B and some other area, are they best to kind of develop content specific to each of those areas, or do you think that is potentially too overwhelming for a small to mid-sized agency and should zero in on something generally that it might be of value to all three, or what would you suggest?
Well, we've got enough generalists out there, as you know.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, right.
And to me, this is the opportunity for an agency to step out and position themselves more narrowly than they've ever dreamed possible.
Okay.
So I advocate doing a niche blog that lives off-site.
Okay.
And built around an agency principle or two.
Okay.
But that it has a very specific target audience.
Right.
If you try, like I had one client that was trying to do Healthy Conversations was the blog.
Okay.
And they were trying to speak to hospitals and healthy lifestyle brands. Some similarities, but it was extremely difficult to create content and to make each post appealing to both.
That fit both of them, yeah.
I told the agency principal, I said, I don't care if you flip a coin. Choose one or the other, because you're going to have more success doing that than trying to talk to both groups at the same time.
Yeah.
And, this is fishing away from the boat. So somebody that's not looking, say, for community hospital marketing information is not even going to find that blog. It's not going to be limiting because he's going after a particular fish with a particular bait, and the bait's away from the boat so it doesn't scare the fish off, and it doesn't confuse the clients that they currently have.
Yeah, right, exactly.
But, to have real success, and when I do the workshops, I want to see them sweat. When we start talking about a niche, and, Tim Williams, you, others, drive your stake in the ground, declare who you are. Yeah. Most agencies come away from conferences and seminars all hyped, but when they get home, they can't pull the trigger.
Yeah, definitely.
This is a way to pull the trigger because there's no risk involved.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah.
But if you don't do it that narrow and that focused, you're not going to have very much success. Yeah. The tighter the focus, the easier the content is, the easier it is to build awareness around a particular target group quickly.
Yeah.
We've got the Barclay Agency. They've got 3 blogs now. The latest was launched as Millennial Marketing.
Okay, right.
They're having great success with it.
They are.
Jeff Fromm, who is vested in the agency as the face for Millennial Marketing. It's only been going like 18 months, and already the Wall Street Journal and Forbes and other major publications are calling on Jeff as the go-to person to talk about millennial marketing.
Yeah. We just featured him on our site the other day. You're absolutely right. I mean, he is so zeroed in on that space.
But they also have a QSR blog to replace the Sonic business that they lost, that account that they'd had for 17 years.
Okay.
And they also have a CPG blog that focuses in on CPG companies.
Okay.
And they're looking at some other niches, but, when we started working together, it was like, pick one.
Yeah.
Let's do that well. Let's get this niche up and going. Let's get a template that you can replicate. Right. And then they've been able to successfully do that.
Okay, that's great. I didn't realize that you were involved with that, and congratulations. That's, he's been extremely successful kind of, following your approach. So hats off there. The other area we talked a little bit about, and we've asked some questions in other surveys, and just from our experience, LinkedIn is a very comfortable platform, I think, for many people. Most agencies say that it's the most important platform available to them in social. In fact, that was the response to one of your questions that you asked. Talk to me a little bit about kind of why there are far fewer agencies that don't see the value in blogging relative to, say, LinkedIn. What are they missing? Again, you and I both know that blogging can be a very effective approach to building new business. What Why do you think, why do you think LinkedIn is viewed as the more important social platform, and what do we think agencies are missing by not holding blogging up, at a higher position than they are currently?
You hit it when you said that it was comfortable. They're comfortable there. They're not comfortable elsewhere. And it's amazing at working with an agency that's a baby boomer to help them with their first tweet. And it's like, they just don't understand the medium.
Yeah.
And blogging is just pure hard work. And most agencies want a positioning of expertise.
Right.
Clients are looking for that.
Yeah.
Experts write. So you've got this great combination of everything coming together, but it's like exercise.
Got to stick with it.
Your treadmill becomes this, clothes hanger and sits in the corner gathering dust, and that's what happens with a lot of blogs. And they miss the multitude of benefits that come with blogging. Blogging is my continuing education program.
Mm-hmm.
It keeps me where I need to be.
Yeah.
Things have changed in social media even this year. Twitter is about to launch their IPO. They're making all kinds of changes to third parties that impact how we've utilized Twitter to build a prospective client audience. And it's almost like weekly, the changes and being able to roll with those changes. But my reading is very strategic, and I just use an RSS reader, Feedly.com, because I'm ADD. I get online, do some searches, and a couple hours later, I've wasted all of this time. I don't even remember what I initially started searching for.
Sure.
So I have all of that content coming into one location. I write, fueling ad agency new business, fuel lines. It's very specific. My wife says to me all the time, "You've been writing this thing for like 7 years. Haven't you said everything?" And the answer is no.
Yeah.
But it is my continuing education program. If I don't understand something, that becomes a blog post.
Right.
And I'll kill two birds with one stone. I'll help to educate myself and be able to share that knowledge with my audience. Plus, I'm looking at it from a different perspective. And when they don't understand some of the other platforms, that's when they need to develop a blog post. It will assimilate their education so much faster. But don't write it as a newbie. Write it as somebody that's seasoned, and but you're going to be gaining information.
Yeah.
Concentrating on one of these outposts like LinkedIn is a wrong strategy.
Right. Okay.
The shelf life of a blog post, when I write in an evergreen way, has a tremendous shelf life and can be utilized over and over again.
Right.
And it will continue to generate traffic. When we post something on LinkedIn or Facebook or Twitter, that has a very short shelf life.
Yeah.
And it's very dependent on our day-to-day participation. There needs to be that combination. And, what is the real magnet? Like for search engine optimization, I own the #1 position in organic search for ad agency new business.
Right.
And it's because everything is so themed and structured that I rose through the rankings quickly and able to maintain that. But that then feeds my other platforms, my outposts, so that, there's a bit of my material going back through LinkedIn, but also through Facebook and Google Plus and Twitter. And there's a mixture of the things that I'm reading that I also share. And then just as I did before the interview, I did a picture, and tweeted out that you and I would be talking and doing this interview.
Excellent. Yeah.
I do the personal side so that, people get to know me.
Yeah.
And that's, that's how it works.
Yeah. No, that's great. That's great advice. There's a lot of talk these days about inbound marketing, in your opinion, is it all what they say it is? You know, can an agency really live on inbound alone? What are your thoughts?
I don't think it's necessary for an agency to live totally on inbound alone. I mean, it's like when everybody zigs every now and then, you ought to zag.
Yeah.
And do something a little bit different.
Okay.
I haven't had to. In my business, I built it all through inbound.
Okay.
I've never made a cold call.
Yeah.
I've never asked for a speaking engagement.
Yeah.
I've been all over the world, and those come to me.
Right.
And this is the thing that just made me so passionate about social media, content marketing, inbound marketing.
Right.
Is when I made cold calls, and I was very good as a cold call. This is so much more efficient than that, that I don't need to do that any longer.
Yeah.
Because what I do, the things that generate the appeal and traffic and build awareness and build interest are the things that enriches me professionally.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
And so I'm not wasting any time.
Yeah.
Plus, I don't chase business.
Yeah.
If you chase after an account, you chase after a particular prospect, when you catch them, you have to go through the dating process.
Absolutely.
You're at a disadvantage from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
I have people all the time saying, Michael, you need to call this person, or you need to reach out to that, telling me that I need to make that initial contact, and I tell them I don't do that.
Yeah.
I want them to call me first.
Yeah, it's a great position to be in.
I own and control the relationship from the get-go when that happens.
Yep, absolutely.
And I never have to sell myself. And I've had some that have called and said, this is how we want you to do your consulting. And I tell them that's not how I do it. And it's like, well, what do you mean? I mean, you want the money, don't you? And it's like, that's not the way I work.
Yeah.
And it puts me with those that are the best match in, my makeup and chemistry.
Sure.
It does the same thing for the agency if they do it right.
Right.
So it's a vetting tool. It vets out those that aren't going to be a good match.
Yeah.
And it vets them much sooner in the process, so you're not wasting time, and you're not getting at the altar and looking over and thinking, I really don't want to say I do, But controlling the client relationship, you are treated as an expert and treated with so much more respect.
Sure.
The whole dynamic is different.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, I agree. The you spoke of conferences and speaking engagements. How important do you think it is for agencies to get themselves involved in things like that as it relates to, new business? Would you recommend that a small mid-sized agency kind of maybe find some opportunities where they can attend or exhibit or possibly speak if they're fortunate enough to get those opportunities?
Most definitely. I was working on staff with an agency, and academic medical centers was our forte.
Okay.
And we did a little research and found out it was much more efficient for us to even pay to have our academic medical center brand strategist to speak at these 2 annual events than to send 5 or 6 from the agency to just be attendees and do networking.
Right, okay.
She was positioned immediately as an expert, and, it provides all kinds of opportunities. We also were given booth space in the exhibit hall.
Okay.
And then they gave us all the contact from everybody who attended.
Right.
And we found out that it was even cheaper than the way we were doing it before and trying to send a group and just being a little more strategic in what we were doing.
Yeah.
Social media enhances that so much more. And as a thought leader, you write, and then, there are the speaking opportunities that go hand in hand with that. So there are certain calls to action. Social media is not to be passive at all.
you put the right things in the right place, and you refine those as you review your analytics. You get better and better at your calls to action. One of those is the speaking opportunities.
Yeah.
And, you start getting those and build upon them. I mean, when I was doing them, I did these little workshops and small events, and you work your way up to keynote opportunities. And then those just start coming.
Right.
And you see a speaker's page on my blog site. It's also in the sidebar. It's featured in my e-newsletter. And it just facilitates other speaking opportunities.
Mm-hmm. Well, listen, Michael, really appreciate the time today. You've given us great insights. And, I know you've met with a lot of success operating in your space and helping agencies do the same. And so, again, appreciate the commitment that you've made to the survey and the time today. And I'm sure we'll cross paths in some airport soon. All right. Well, listen, you take it.
Good to see you.
All right. Thanks so much, Michael. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye now.